When I first bought this Jeep, I bought it to be the ultimate adventure vehicle. And over the years, I'd say we've made some pretty good progress in making it the ultimate adventure vehicle. I've done tons of trips with it. We've had tons of fun camping, off-roading, and this thing is just a really capable and fun daily driver that can also go off-road and do whatever I tell it to. And we've kind of moved on from making it the ultimate adventure machine. Now it's just about making those adventures better. So in the last video, you guys saw us install a 12-volt Iceco fridge in the back. I made a full platform DIY with a little trapdoor to get underneath. Extremely nice. I was very, very excited about it. And unfortunately, whether I like it or not, summer is slowly coming to an end and the days are starting to get shorter. And if you guys couldn't tell, I'm the type of dude to roll up to a campsite late at night. I tend to show up most places late. Point is, in the last video that we installed some lights on the back of the new spare tire delete, I told you guys this is not the final stage of wiring for lighting. We have one more pretty big thing that I want to do, so it's kind of going to be a temporary wiring setup. And well, today we're getting it done. This is something I am so excited about. I've been telling you guys I wanted to put lights on the roof rack of the Jeep. Ever since I got this roof rack on, basically, I told you guys I wanted to put 2 lights per side, mainly for camping purposes. When you roll up to a campsite and it's dark and you're trying to set up, or you're already camping and just like, you know, the day's winding down, you're trying to clean up or whatever you're trying to do, how nice would it be to be able to be standing right here and have 2 floodlights just projecting light this way while you're camping. This is a huge quality of life upgrade, brought to you by none other than my favorite boys at Vivid Lumen. Now what's really cool is Vivid Lumen actually makes more than just pod lights. You guys know I run Vivid Lumen pod lights, I run Vivid Lumen fog lights. The lights we just installed on this spare tire delete kit are Vivid Lumen. Even my headlight bulbs are from Vivid Lumen. But they have a whole work series lineup. Like, this is a literal work light. They have an entire other, like, basically industrial division for working and trucks and all that kind of stuff, which is really, really cool. There's 6000K white lights, and they also have the amber light, which is so cool, and I'll explain why in a bit. They're a flood, and they have a lifetime warranty, so you really can't go wrong. We also got a full 8-port switch panel and all kinds of stuff going on in here that we will get to in a bit. We got a lot of other stuff to do before we dig into that. So check these guys out real quick. Woo! So normally, obviously, I wouldn't try to go for like the work light series, but these are the perfect size for what we're gonna do. So we obviously have a pretty big size restraint, considering that the roof rack is very low to the Jeep. So these fit barely. And when I say barely, I mean barely up in here. There's like no wiggle room for these at all. So we're gonna do 2 on this side, 2 on the back, 2 on that side. We did just install these guys, but the thing with these guys is, like, say we're camping and I'm cooking or I'm packing stuff into the, whatever. If I open this, the lights are ruined. Instantly, those lights are gone. They're not shining right here anymore. So having lights up here that shine down will really save the day. You guys know I have a discount code I'm gonna put on the screen right here for you guys to use on Vivid Lumen's website. You guys can save money on anything on the website. They make awesome lights. I use them all the time, so make sure you guys head over to Vivid Lumen and check them out. Top of this rack is tongue and groove like this, so this will be easy to make one for. That's a much bigger tongue and groove setup. It's meant more for the feet, but it'll still work. We just gotta figure it out. So far, these lights only fit in theory. I've never actually test fitted them, so for a quick test fit, I put a washer, a nut, and a bolt through this little bracket they came with just so I could slide it around the rail system on the rack. Loosely bolted up 1 on the back and then 2 on the one side because the roof is a little bit round. I'd hate to run into an issue where 1 fits and 1 doesn't. And then we got to lift the rack back on for the 1 of 5,000th time in this video. In all my brilliance, I went ahead and installed the lights on the side that has like no room to show them off. But still, dude, look how good they look. This one's tight, but I mean, it clears, like it doesn't touch the roof when you move it. These are the feet that you can buy from Rhino Rack. This is what every attachment comes with. This slides under the groove, and then when you tighten it, it can't spin because it's a long rectangle. It jams, and then you just tighten into it. I don't have extras of these right now, and as much as I was trying to avoid making a mess today, this piece of scrap metal that I have laying around, it's gonna work too good. And if it's never been made clear, I love building stuff. You guys see me build something at every chance I get. But something really cool about using the Rhino Rack system is that they actually sell light bar mounts for the rack. A little bit more mess than I was hoping to make today, but if you just plan better than me, you can avoid the mess.
they pretty much sell anything you could think of. And I feel like I don't say this enough, but this Rhino Rack platform is one of, if not the best mod I have done to my Jeep. This isn't even sponsored, it's just my opinion because I know not everybody has access to tools and welders and stuff like I do, and you need to buy things, so it's cool to have a company that makes things you need to buy. You guys saw nothing. Unfortunately, I'm a needy little boy and I wanted a very specific setup, so I had to make it. I also didn't want this to rust, so I threaded a bolt into them so I could paint literally everything but the threads. And then I planted them in a little bench vise garden.
These are looking awesome. I hit them with some oil-based paint, so they'll take a little bit longer to dry, but when they do, they won't rust or flake or anything weird. So I'm gonna let these dry. Because as you guys already saw, putting the lights on the rack is actually the easy part of today. I have a feeling that this is gonna take just a little bit longer. Dude, you know it's a good product when it comes to the official installation zip ties. This is Vivid Lumen's 8-port auxiliary switches. A lot of companies make something that looks a lot like this pen. The difference is, I found at least, in the hardware that you're actually getting with that port. I've seen some videos on some other products and it looks like they're just lesser. Like, look at this. Oh, that looks so good. Comes with obviously the nice switch. The center button here turns everything on or everything off. It's got some stickers, unfortunately, probably 0 of which we're gonna be able to use. And then of course we got wires and bolts and brackets and this guy, which is the key brains and important part. Unfortunately for me, I have gone ahead and completely jammed my engine bay full of stuff already. I could run this on that side. It actually fits really nicely right there. Problem with that is that the kit only came with this much wire, and the wire that I have is 0 gauge, which is way more intense than this. So if any of you guys have anything similar in a JL, I'm gonna try and take advantage of these bolts right here. I'm gonna get at least 1 bolt in that little bracket, and then this side will just rest on top of the battery. It is what it is. I'll admit, all on its own, it looks like it sticks up just a little farther than you would like. But once the airbox is in there, it looks much more reasonable. They say you can never have too many lights, and normally I would agree, but you can have too many light wires. We pretty much got this all dialed in. I had to move a bunch of shit around to make it actually work. And I was trying to fit this little fuse block guy in. Apparently these guys don't handle torque very well. And I absolutely blew the freaking corner off. I mean, that's not ideal. I built a really cool little spacer. I pulled the factory ground wire out of the way, and I'm basically just putting a bolt through this into this so that when it sits nice and level with everything that's up here. I'm gonna just try that one more time, a little gentler right there, and I'm gonna have to order up a new one of these dudes. Now, can you please get me a ratchet so I do not explode this again?
All that this wire said was plug it into a 12-volt outlet, but it was not even long enough to get it in the car, so I just pulled the fuse for the rear 12-volt outlet in the Jeep. I'm gonna assume that that's what it wants. I think that wakes this up, because if you always had power going to the fuse block, you'd just kill your battery because it's always on. Oh, hot tamale! You know why? Because the fuse in the back is set to always on. Remember how you can move it around? Huh. So we're gonna have to change that back to always off or find a new fuse, but for the meantime, oh, they light up when they're on. That's cool. Also, how do we change this from green? This gives me like 2005 Chrysler vibes. And well, there may be no way to avoid the 2005 Chrysler color, but I can at least make it so it only comes on when you power up the ignition. So I switched this fuse. Oh, good news. To the front 12-volt outlet on the Jeep, which is an ignition source. went ahead and just nicely tucked this tiny little wire. And I'm now gonna come back and scroll the comments to see how many of you guys are absolutely in love with 2005 Chrysler Green for who knows what reason. Look at these, dude. These actually look really, really good. I let these dry overnight because they're steel and I don't want them to rust. They're also going inside of aluminum, so I just want everything covered. I don't want the paint coming off. I want them to be solid. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to let you guys know that we haven't been doing very many merch drops lately, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. We haven't been doing it because we've been going through some changes, and you guys have been seeing that like some things are a little weird over here, and I'm trying not to like keep pushing things that I don't necessarily have the time to keep up with, but we restocked the shop banners. You guys know these are one of my absolute favorite items that we have. We also have back in stock some lanyards, jet tags, stickers, banners. We have the Late Nights Loud Cars t-shirts, tons of stuff, and right now it's all on sale. So make sure you guys check out the website. We're trying to clear out some inventory, make some room. So go on there, check out the sale. Thank you guys so much for everybody that has supported us in the past and will support us again in the future. Let's go ahead and get some lights on this rack. Gotta figure out where to put this. We're drilling through. This roof is actually one of my favorites because this is just fiberglass. So like worst case, I mess it up, I can fill it, paint it black. You will never know, especially because it's on the top. Again, I've drilled 2, 4, 6, 12 holes in the roof of this Jeep before and not a single one of them leaks. As long as you put nice beads of caulking around the outside, everything's totally fine. And since I've already drilled through the roof a bunch of times, it's kind of no going back. So I picked up this thing. This is it looks kind of like a vent, like a roof vent for like an RV. But pretty much it's just a cable pass through. So it's just a big open hole. You could put the cables through the roof of the Jeep, up through the front, and then it has these dudes that when you tighten these dudes down, the hole closes around the cable. It's rated to be fully weatherproof. Pretty much. Oh, I thought that would be way tighter. I'm gonna do it right here on this ridge. Because it's on that ridge, you won't see it standing here on the ground. And it's also sheltered underneath this. It's not like it's gonna get snow or anything built up on it. I'm gonna mark that up because I couldn't run any of the wires because I didn't know where they were gonna pass through the roof. And we can take this thing off one more time. At this point in my life, there's pretty much nothing I haven't ordered from Amazon, but somehow shop supplies is one of those things. This was the first time I ever bought like a spool of wire and some heat shrink butt connectors from Amazon. They were significantly cheaper than buying them at the local store, and they actually were really good quality. My only mistake was that I bought 2 wire, and these light pods are 3. So once I got everything sort of laid, you guys saw me with the knife there, split these 2 wires, and then I would go around and lay an additional single wire as the yellow, which actually worked out pretty nice because once I got these to the front later on, all the wires that were still 2 wire were one side, and all the single wires were a yellow of one of the sides. But dude, everything went really, really well. So this all tucks up into here. All of these side channels, the wires won't come out. You can see even just like a full-size zip tie keeps this like nice and secure in there. Never mind the fact that I taped up all the butt connectors and they're jammed. This is a very tight channel. It should never come out. Even the butt connectors that I taped up and shoved in this bigger channel still shouldn't come out, but I don't trust those ones as much. I have this drawer of clip nuts and I've had these things forever, dude. I think they're off mud flaps and they fit right inside of this channel. If I just take this guy, maybe give him a quick slice. I've essentially made the same thing as we were doing before, a little slider that goes in the channel of the roof rack. The only difference is this one is not good for actually putting any force on, but it is good to hold just plastic in front of the wires so the wires don't fall out. So now we have that separated clip nut. Is it janky? Maybe a little bit, but it's gonna work. So now that I had all these wires safely secured to the bottom of this rack, it was time to go ahead and start drilling some holes. Okay. So we're gonna need a slight, oh shit. That was like an old habit. I grabbed the roof rack to climb down. Thank God it's still on the roof. We're gonna need a bigger hole. And we're gonna just use this marine silicone. Sunproof, freeze-proof, flexible, excellent flexibility. Fiberglass, the first thing on the list. Wood, metal, glass, plastic. And we're just gonna start winging it. You know what I should have done before I caulked it? Hear me
Tested?
out. No, but put the wire down into the hole. Because now they gotta do like just a sharp 90. I don't know how well that's gonna go. You see it? And since I obviously didn't think this one through, Courtney actually sat on the inside and was able to grab these wires with needle nose pliers. There's obviously much better ways to do this, and if there was like a dress-up piece for the inside I could buy, I would have considered drilling the hole way bigger. But since there's nothing I could find, we just did this one by one until we got all 9 wires through this hole.
Dude, this looks so good. So that's all the exposed wires for the whole thing. It just comes off that cross beam right here and goes in, and then comes off that cross beam right there and goes in, and that's all of it. In here it looks like an absolute catastrophe, but I actually did a really good job of leaving us enough wires, which is cool. And the main thing that I was like concerned about, if you look up, you don't really see any of the wires. It all looks good. My lens looks like it's dirty. All we have left to do now is make these wires detach. I mean, the good news is I don't ever take the rack off. This was the first time I've ever taken it off since I installed it, so hopefully I just never have to deal with that. I do sometimes take the roof off though. So as long as I can disconnect all these wires from all the wires going to them from the body of the Jeep, then I will be happy. And now that all the wires coming to the roof had quick connects, it was time to start bringing some wires back to connect to them. Slight inconvenience, the Jeep has a total of 1 actual grommet on the firewall that you can go through. And unfortunately, it's not easy to get to. I check out the start-stop battery, and then behind where that battery is, right there. This is by far the best pass-through on the Jeep, at least on the new JLs. There's really not a lot of firewall options, and you can sneak a wire just up into here. It goes through the little windshield gap that's in there and goes into the Jeep. I've used this one for a couple months, no issues. And you guys can see this is my sub and amp wires, which have been going up through this side for like probably almost 2 years. And I've had no problems, no leaks, no nothing. It's a great option. Unfortunately, we were having trouble getting 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller gauge wires through this. So getting 9 12 gauge wires through this, I don't think it's an option. Doing right now. We're gonna do this. While I pull this through, you're gonna keep pulling the black off the red so that I can use the black that doesn't go through as a size guide for the rest.
Got it.
While I was here, I also snipped the leads that were leading to those 4 wires that you guys saw us install for the spare tire delete pod lights and condensed them down to 2 thicker gauge wires while I was at it. For the sake of cleanliness, for these wires, I bought white loom. And, well, I needed a loom like this, and they sent me loom like this. This fits like 3 wires. Imagine this while you're watching me do what I do next with black. Did that just go?
Yeah, I've got them all through.
What?
Yeah.
That was way too easy almost. This actually worked out so well. Like, I can't believe how clean we got 11 wires.
I was able to loom these and keep them loomed all the way up right until they're about to plug in, which is crazy. They come out down here, up on the inner fender well. You guys saw they all came through that grommet right there. I just got to put a little bit of butyl on there. Then inside, dude, it just worked out really nice. All the wires come down. Everything nicely fits underneath this little panel piece here. Same thing in the back. Everything's nice. I also zip tied like every couple of inches just to make sure that nothing comes loose. And then you guys can see all these connections aren't in the same place. So I did a couple down low, a couple up high, and a couple in the middle. That way when we go ahead and sleeve over it, there's not like a bulge in the middle, because these connections obviously make the wires a little bit fatter, right? So that way there's no bulge where all of these happen. So once I go ahead and get these batteries back in, we can start running some quick test runs and just see what button does what. It's the roof lights on the back. Okay, good news. Okay, these are weird. What are they doing here? Oh, that does the pod lights.
And the buttons were not laid out in a way that I would expect them to. So I just played a game of clicking the buttons, checking the lights that came on, and wiring them up the way I wanted them wired up.
I got the bar all cleaned up. I put a bunch of 10 amp fuses in here because they were running like 30s before. That's a bit extreme for the lights we have. Especially once we go ahead and like put this cover on. And that cover on, wherever that is. Honestly, super pleased with how this all turned out. Up here is tucked really nicely, and then I went around and put some extra silicone up in there to make sure that just never leaks. I did forget to run this wire, which goes to the switch panel, through that stupid grommet earlier. I went ahead and I did that. You guys have seen me wire for probably way too long today. I feel like this video got way out of hand. I thought this was gonna be a really, really quick install. It sounds simple. It's taken me way too long. And I don't know what you guys are gonna think of this, but I have what I think is a really, really cool spot. My thought is this is only ever gonna be accessed on foot when we're camping. I'm not gonna wanna be driving and flick on these side lights. Very rarely will I want that. So if I can mount this dude like up in here, you could just reach in, pop that, control all the lights from here, and you're good. If you had driving lights on it, maybe, yeah, you wanna put it somewhere else, but I left my driving lights on this and like my winch and stuff on here because these are accessible while I'm driving. Dude, these came out really, really well. First of all, check them out at night. Dude, we got a full 360-degree light action going on right now on the Jeep. This is so cool. Something I actually did too when I just pulled up, because obviously when I installed these lights, I made them like flush with the rack to make them look good. Like you can see that one's super straight with the rack. I actually just grabbed this one and spun it a bit because I had like perfect squares of light. Unfortunately, these rear ones are way too tight for me to spread them right now. I'm gonna have to go home and loosen the bolt, but I will be able to spread this light pattern so that it's actually like a full coverage, not just this weird little chunk of darkness in the middle, which again, camera's hotspot, everything you can see there. The camera just makes it look pitch black. And honestly, for the work light series, I did not expect them to be this bright, dude. Like, look how aggressive this is. When you stand directly in front of them, it does do that to your eyes, but as soon as you're out from like directly in front of it, it's actually quite nice. Doesn't hurt. It's nice. It lights up the ground. You got starting basically right at the Jeep, spreads all the way out. And what's also really cool is like, obviously the camera can't capture the Jeep is lit because there's lights pointing at it, but when I have my awning out, I have the roof tent comes out this side, and then we have the 270-degree awning. So it comes all the way around and it wraps over both sets of lights. And if you just go ahead, even just look at how lit this is. If you just put your hand above it, look at how much light reflects down and actually hits the Jeep. So when this has a full cover on it, that comes like whatever 8 feet out, it's actually gonna make it just so much better. So in terms of camping, I think this is absolutely perfect. And the whole time, obviously, just for example, I've had both the yellow and the white on, and you can see all the bugs flying around them right now, which is actually why I was really excited earlier that we got the yellow and the white combo. So now walk up as if we're camping. I can go in here, just turn everything off. Then we can do whites, which are obviously good for like most things, most times, whatever, but at the hour that it is right now, where there's just bugs swarming the light trying to get at it. I don't know why this works, but bugs, you guys know if you live anywhere that has bugs, bugs are not attracted to yellow light. A lot of people in the country put like yellow porch lights on their porch because the bugs don't go to it. And so now we go full zombie mode, and it still has tons of light. It's a little bit more of a, like an awkward color, sure. Point is, you can still see absolutely great, and for some reason the bugs don't like that. Also, if you guys ever find me just driving on the road, just do me a favor and just don't tailgate me. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. I was actually able to find some of the loom that like most factory cars use, this kind of meshy material as opposed to the stuff that I used before. And it looks also really good. Dude, look at that. I put this clip up here just to help me install it, to kind of route it. I need to find a couple more things like that to hold this up just so it doesn't make any noise. But even just for now, dude, it's super, super clean. I also did go ahead and jump under here and put a little bit of loom wherever I could. This thing is obviously protected by this main strip right here, so I don't have to worry too much, but I didn't want any wires exposed or anything, so. And the freaking panel, dude, obviously none of these stickers apply to me. So what I did, I just pointed them in the direction that the lights go. So this one's upside down, it says hood upside down, but that's for the two pods that go that way. I basically did driver's side, rear, passenger side, whites across the top, yellows across the bottom, and then that's my actual pod lights that are on the back. So I was actually able to tuck this wire right here. Okay, it comes out from behind that panel, goes down, but then it doesn't go through here. It goes in behind the vents. It was super hard to film this because it's just a dark spot, but it comes down in here behind these two plastic vents. You just pull this whole trim piece off and it just runs down, and then underneath the entire center console back up, and it's now somewhere here. Overall, I'm just extremely happy with how clean and good everything looks, dude. Like, they just look good. Simply, you wouldn't even really notice them if they weren't on right now reflecting. And I'm able to be respectful, which is the biggest thing. When I show up, I don't have to blare lights everywhere. I can blare them just where I want them or just where I need to be able to see. So make sure you guys check out Vivid Lumen. Use the code Robbie10 right here. Save money on anything on their website. Also, grab some merch. Like I said, everything's like 30 to 60% off right now. We're just trying to make some room, clear some stuff out. So check that out. And before I let you guys go, today's challenge is gonna be to take the more challenging route. Do it properly. For example, routing that cable. I really, really, really wanted to route it through here where all the other ones were, because I already had that sealed up butyl tape on that little grommet that I opened and everything, but I didn't. I took like literally an hour and I undid all the butyl. I put the cord through here. Running it through the grommet down there was the only way it was long enough to reach up into here. I'm not even kidding. This took me 3 full days, and I'm talking like midnight 2 of the days. I don't even know how it got out of the control that bad, but like it did, and I am so stoked that it did. That's my challenge for you guys today, is to just take the harder route, do something the right way, take your time with it, and create what you really, really want. Don't settle. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out and stay committed.